throw up. I'll throw up. You take it for one round minus me.
A few moments later.
Welcome to another super special episode of History on Wheels, brought to you by Vredestein Tyres. So far on History on Wheels, we've been covering cars, bikes and even brands, the history of them. But today, we're pushing the envelope, and that's why I'm on a racetrack. Now, helping me push my envelope and give me loads of grip are these Vredestein tyres that are also keeping me comfortable while I drive the pants off a car. From sports cars to superbikes, Vredestein is known for making a wide range of high-performance tyres. And it's not just the variety of tyres, it's the impressive performance across different seasons and terrains, a result of their 115-year-old legacy and continuous innovation. Today's episode is about a man who is no stranger to pushing the envelope. This is the man that has pushed the boundaries of motorsports in India. And yes, this episode is about motorsports in India and putting India on the Formula One map. And who better to take us through this story than India's first Formula One driver and the fastest Indian, Narain Karthikeyan. We have Narain with us on the episode and it's going to get real exciting, so stay tuned. And of course, if you like what we're doing here, do drop us a like and subscribe to the channel, because that's how we know you love us. Well, before we get talking to Narain, let's dive a little bit into the history of motorsports in India.
As they thunder away to a perfect start.
It all began way back in 1904 in Mumbai. This was when the Maharajas owned cars and the thrill of racing set in, and the first ever race was held on a dirt track in Mumbai. Over the years, motorsports really developed in India, but it was always a rich man's sport. There were races in Sholavaram in Chennai. There were races at the old airfield, which is now Juhu in Mumbai. People raced everything from Premier Padmanis to cars that they had indigenously built here in India. Formula cars, much like this F2000 that we have here today. Of course, it went on to become FISMEs, which were formula cars made with 800cc engines, and there was a whole racing series based on those. And today we have Cup cars, which are works or teams cars from automobile manufacturers that have their own racing series. But there was one event, one rally, which really put India on the global map, and that was in 1980 when the first Himalayan rally happened. People came from all over the world to take part in this grueling event, and it really put India on the global map. Now, in those days, while we were racing on airstrips, soon circuits began sprouting around India, the first of them being the MMSC track, which is in Sriperumbudur in Chennai. And after that, we saw the Budh circuit sprout up. Today, we have many more tracks coming up across India, and I'm in one particular track, which is the Coast track. It's 3.72 kilometers long. It's designed to be FIA Grade 2, which means you can race just about everything except for Formula One cars here. Now, this track is a dream of Narain Karthikeyan's to build, and his career began way back when he was 15 years old. And I remember that day particularly well because it was me with my rallying partner Zoru Bathena who actually went to fetch Narain and bring him to the track. He was quiet, diminutive, never spoke a word all the way to the track, and we were wondering, how is this little boy going to race? He came out and he pretty much decimated the field and was on the podium in that very first race. He's never looked back in his career ever since. It's been long and illustrious. By 1993, Narain had set his goalpost to be an F1 driver. He went on to race in multiple series in the UK, and while he collected podiums along the way, he went on to win the British Formula Ford Winter Series in 1994. Next stop was the Formula Asia Championship in 1995 and back to the UK in 1997. He won races, got pole positions, fastest laps and even lap records. He scored the first ever win for the fledgling Carlin Motorsport team in 1999 at Brands Hatch, a circuit which has become his happy hunting ground ever since. He raced the Korea Super Prix, which he dominated and won in 2000. It was at this time that the Motorsport magazine nicknamed him the fastest Indian in the world, a title that probably still bears true. The breakthrough came in 2001, the test for Formula One at Silverstone. He impressed the Jaguar team and was invited for the second test at Mugello, Italy, with the Minardi team. However, the sport is not just about talent. It needs one to raise a lot of money too, and Narain had to take a step back on going to World Series by Nissan. He never let his spirits flag and he fought on and won multiple podiums till he got his dream in 2005, racing in Formula One. Though the F1 stint was a tough one, Narain never gave up or stopped there and continued to race in A1 GP, winning the Zhuhai. A proud moment for India with the Indian national anthem playing, and he went on to win Brands Hatch too. It's one of his favourite tracks, and he won there again in the Super League Formula in 2010. Well, we're so happy to welcome Narain Karthikeyan onto History on Wheels, brought to you by Vredestein. Narain, it's such a pleasure to have you here. We'll begin by telling us a little bit about this dream, the track, CoASTT. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, the land was here since 1987. We were just waiting for it to be built. And we got the opportunity to, kind of finish this, the asphalt, the construction of the asphalt, the laying of the asphalt. And it's been, kind of operational since December 23.
Wow, that's fantastic. And this track is pretty much made, I think, to a Narain Karthikeyan driving style. Fast, flowing and fun. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. You have all these tracks. Of course, Chennai, we all grew up there.
Yeah.
So it's a great layout. But then the other tracks are very, stop and go and second gear corners and it's not flowing enough. So we made it extremely fast, quite technical, lot of elevation changes, and it's mega fun to drive. So, this is what we wanted and we achieved it.
But tell me something, that first race, and I remember it very, very distinctly because I was the one that picked you up and took you to the track. I don't know if you ever remember that. And you were this quiet, diminutive little boy, and you came out and just decimated everybody there and you were on the podium. What was that feeling like? How nervous were you, and what was the feeling like after you won?
So I think you were driving, maybe a few years ahead of me, right? And then, we all looked up to you guys, and you did a lot of rallying with fast cars those days. And I mean, I was always interested, and that race in Chennai, I was for my first ever race, I was really fast. And
that's putting it mildly, yeah.
And then people just said, okay, let's support this guy, and like so many Hormas, so many people who kind of made this journey to Formula One possible.
But can I understand that feeling? Like you were a young guy, your very first race, so many people watching it. What was that?
I mean, those days the grids were very big. We all drove in Formula Maruti. That was the backbone of the Indian racing, single-seaters back then. And I mean, no pressure. I thought, I was so this little confident guy who knew kind of, had the speed or whatever, and I came and I was leading in the, first lap. So, of course,
after that there was pressure off, yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
And then you were just grinning in the rear view mirrors, yeah?
Well, I tried to, and then I was so wild. I went off the track and broke something and, had a DNF. But I think that day everyone knew that here's this new kid who's coming through. Yeah.
What is that feeling when you get into the car and it's just...
So most of my 23 years of racing was single-seaters, and the Super GT car in Japan was also a single-seater with the bodywork. That's how it was.
Yeah.
So I love it. I mean, the thrill of driving a single-seater, you never get in any other form of motorsport, to be honest. It is so light, nimble, so much of downforce, and it's a real racing car. They are so stiff, so slung low to the ground, and I mean, when the tires are warm, and when you bolt on this fresh set of tires with low fuel and you go attack the track, you get the biggest thrill and the biggest grin on your face for sure.
Well, we're going to keep that grin going. I don't know how much I'm going to grin because I'm getting Narain to take me for a hot lap in the Porsche first, because that's all I have courage for at this point of time. And then we'll get Narain to drive this car. But that's up next. So Narain, I had to do a quick change because you really made me sweat it about getting with you in a car and going around a track. I've remembered my past few episodes.
You being done all sorts of racing. It's great to have you here, and after 10 years to drive again.
Yeah, this track is pretty phenomenal. Do you drive a lot yourself?
No.
Like when you go out of town, are you fed up with the people on the road and find it too crazy?
No, I don't find it too crazy. I just find the cars getting faster, the roads getting better, but the civic sense of driving is still way behind. So I keep saying my racetracks.
Yeah.
The racetracks always safer than the roads.
Is there a racetrack that you haven't driven on that you still want to drive?
Renuka, I've driven in more than 150 circuits around the world over the last nearly 3 decades of racing. So, I've driven in pretty much everything. But I would love to do Le Mans again. It's a race that I kind of, didn't complete because I had the injury and so have you. So that's something I would love to do.
And Brands Hatch is clearly your favorite circuit. You just excel all the time there.
Yeah, always. Yeah. So all the great drivers like Nigel Mansell, Damon Hills, a lot of British drivers, even Senna.
Yeah.
So they were very fast in Brands Hatch, and whatever I drove, of course Formula 1 didn't go there, but every other category I was on the podium or won races there. So it's one of my favorite tracks for sure.
And is there a car that you want to own that you still haven't owned and you want right now? Like, this is a car I need.
I'm a big fan of Porsches because on the track it just keeps running and running, and the 911 GT3 RS is phenomenal, and we've done a few lap records with that car here in India. Yeah, so that's my favorite for sure.
Yeah. So you're waiting for? Are you going to get one?
Yeah. Am I getting a GT3 RS? I hope so. Maybe.
We'll tell them right now. We're in the Porsche, right? And you're saying good things about it. So
we should definitely tell them. Yeah.
Yeah. Narain needs a GT3 RS to set even more cracker times around this track. You've set a record in it, right?
Yeah, record at both, and of course we established a new lap record in coast.
Yeah.
For production cars, and that car's phenomenal. It'll just go there and beat every other supercar. That's how fast it is.
I'll throw up. Narain Karthikeyan went all out on the track. He also challenged Chaitanya to a fun race and got the adrenaline levels soaring with every lap. So you definitely set hearts racing. I think Che and you were like going crazy on the track, and then you showed him what it is to be like an F1 driver. We've got some fun Racing Hearts rapid fire questions for you, brought to you by Vredestein Tyres. This is going to get your heart racing because you have to win a hamper from us, okay?
Go for it.
I don't know if the questions will be tough enough for you, but let's begin with the easy ones. You've driven a lot of EV cars now, ICE or EV on a track?
Ice. Come on.
Manual or auto? I didn't want to ask you this, but you said go ahead.
On the track, the auto is faster. The modern dual clutch, blah blah blah. It's much faster than a manual.
Yeah.
If you want to be, old school, then no. I prefer an auto on the
On the track, single seater or saloon car racing?
hands down.
Hands down. What's your favorite driving song? Do you listen to music when you drive?
I listen to everything modern, 80s pop and rock and what have you. So I'm not like just listen. I listen to all bands.
All kinds of things. Do you fill nitrogen air in your tires or regular?
Whatever there is, I don't know.
Whatever there is.
I don't
Okay,
think it says
whatever
that.
makes it go faster. Right?
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
here are the trick questions. When was the first ever Formula One held and where?
This is a tough one. Silverstone. Possibly the first race was 1950, the World Championship.
I don't think anything's tough for him. Yeah. And why was it called Formula One?
Because they built these cars to a set of rules, and then hence the formula.
Ah, he knows all the answers. I think we gave Narain very simple questions today. We've got something very special for you, Narain. It's an American muscle car for a change. We've got a nice little model for you,
Wow.
and then of course,
Look at it.
we have a great hamper that you can win from us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on our show. You have no hands to shake with me, but we'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for being
Thanks,
on History on Wheels
Renuka.
with
Thanks.
us.
We had a lot of fun today, and Naga was absolutely fantastic on the track.
Well, Narain's answered his rapid fire questions really well, and here's your chance to win a big prize from Vredestein Tyres as well. Answer these two questions, drop your answers in the comments, and you stand to win this big prize. Here's the first question, and if you've been paying attention to this episode, you'll know the answer. How long has Vredestein been in business? Second question, which is the Italian automotive designer which helped Vredestein achieve design excellence? Well, answer these two questions, and of course, all the details are in the description.